How many of you guys and girls, my viewers, have your own hypotheses, theories, thoughts, beliefs, which are rooted in some semblance of rational thought and reasoning? How many of you have pondered some of the bigger questions, the things I speak about and the things I ask you to put, thought out comments about down? It doesn't seem very many, to be frank. And of course, okay, so if I get 100 hits on any video, that's a good amount for my channel. But out of those, look yourself at the comments and ask yourself, well, that's 100 people, and what's being said? Nothing's being said. And so I spoke in the last video about other channels who, of course, have been doing what they do for years, public figures. Like Russell Brand's channel, when he's got millions of people, of course he's going to get millions of views and thousands of comments. But I look down the comments for intelligence, and I can't find it there. And I wonder why these people are watching super intelligent people, because they evidently can't be gleaning what they're saying, because it isn't reflected in their comments. They're just projecting something that's been triggered within them from some of the words that's been said. They haven't listened to the context. They don't have any formed opinions on the context of what is being conveyed, which requires depth of study, Granted, I haven't, exhausted my research in reading all these comments, because I find them just too tedious. But just from reading a dozen, I get the picture that nobody knows what these people are speaking about. Nobody, very, very few people on the planet think at that level and depth. Most other people think they do, think they are thinking in the similar sort of realms, but they're not. They're deluding themselves, and it's just bizarre. And I look across the board of the internet, and I see the stupidity and the naivety of the human being. And when we look at people who are held in high regard, like, for instance, the guru, the modern guru Jordan Peterson. Well, if you listen to what Jordan Peterson says, can any of you make any sense out of what he's saying? Because he's so obscure, he's so deep, he's so esoteric, he's so random. It doesn't mean anything to anybody's lives. And it's kind of like he's lost in his own mental masturbation. And he's in a fortunate position whereby people will want to listen to this mental masturbation. But what does it mean? What does it give anybody? The things he says are so obscure, so intertwined, and so tangential. He just goes from one topic to another one, which is completely, seemingly unrelated, and then he'll try and bring the relation in somewhere, and he'll go off on somewhere else, and everyone's just going, what the fuck? What's this guy on? But, millions of people watch these videos. Why? What are they getting from them? What is the attraction? Why are people drawn to this level of discourse when the world seemingly is filled with very mediocre minds and states of consciousness? Because at the level Peterson's speaking at, it's only going to be valuable to the highly intelligent people. There's very, very few highly intelligent people, percentage-wise, on the planet. And so if Jordan Peterson gets 5 million views, then you're only going to have a maximum of 500 highly intelligent people. So all the rest of the comments the million comments or 500,000 comments or whatever it is, they're just bollocks coming from idiots at the end of the day. And so, you know, what do we make of life? What do we make of any of it? Truth, whose truth, what truth, where truth? It's just mental masturbation. That's all that's going on in this dimension. Mental masturbation. And any of us who have given things thought, then we're all caught in that trap. Mental masturbation doesn't mean anything. It'll never go anywhere. There's no substance to any of it. We'll never find any truth outside of our subjective truth, and we will know, being intelligent people, that our subjective truth is just Maya, just the same as anything else is. So what are we doing? What are we doing? We're just killing time, aren't we? We're just killing time. And so some people comment and, you know, why is this so important to you, or why are you doing that, or let this go, and I'm like, well what else do we fucking do? You know, I could go walking in nature, you know, a little bit more, but there's only so much of that I can do. I could go to the gym a little bit more, but there's only so much of that I could do. I could go cycling a little bit more, but there's only so much of that I could do. I could read a little bit more, but there's only so much of that I could do. I've got 24 hours in a day to fill. That's my privilege. And so, well, what do I fill it with? I fill it with my thoughts. And if you are given to contemplation, then what are you going to do? Are you going to write it down, or are you going to speak about it and make videos? And so that's what I do. I'm just mentally masturbating the same as anybody else that's having thoughts and linking a few things together. But at least on my channel, you see, what I'm endeavouring to do, unlike Jordan Peterson, because now he's gone off in his own, you know, cosmic dimension due to the amount of money that he's earned from the fool who have bought his books and could never get through them, by the way. Now, let me just tell you something, people. There's one book here. This one, Maps of Meaning, and this is one of the very, very few books that I just found exceedingly boring, and there was nothing in there which grasped my attention in any meaningful way. And this book took him 15 years to write, with his obsession of making sure everything was perfect. And he says that he wrote every single line 50 times, right? The man's obsessed. And so, okay, maybe in one of his books, the other book, 12 Rules for Life, it was pretty well stand up straight with a straight back, clean up your fucking sock box and that sort of thing. And he appealed to young adults, and so they bought that book in its millions, read a few pages and found it fucking exceedingly tedious. Look, if what I'm saying here, people, if somebody is highly intelligent, then one of the things that they would need to do is to make their knowledge more accessible for the average person. Otherwise, who the fuck is going to benefit from something like this? I'm going to get through it, and maybe I might change my mind, but I don't think so, because I know how Peterson is. He's so tangential, and he goes off all around the fucking world to make his points. And what are his points at the end of the day? They're just his own subjective consensus. And what do they mean to us? Nothing. Nothing. So when I listen to him speaking with like Russell Brand, like last night I was listening, you've got Jordan Peterson just goes into a monologue, you know, for 10-15 minutes, and then he's asking, you know, 50 questions within that and making 150 statements or something like that, and then Russell Brand can hone in on one, He'll pick one out, or something that's a little bit related to some of the things that, or one of the things it said, and then he'll go off on his monologue for 10 minutes. And then you look at the pair of them and they're just wanking in front of each other. That's all they're doing. They're just fucking wanking. And so it's kind of like, what the fuck? And, you know, I pride myself on having, you know, a reasonable intellect. And I'm like, what's coming out of this? What am I getting from this? Surely if you're intelligent people and you've got these platforms, then the idea is that you give people something and you make your videos valuable and you have a take home. But by the time I'd listened to an hour of their conversation, what did I take home? Fucking nothing, except there's a couple of wankers raking in millions of pounds. You know, in the best possible respect, these guys, I adore them both for what they are and how they think. But at the end of the day, if these thoughts are going to have any value, then they have to mean something to somebody else, don't they? I mean, it's very much like Wittgenstein or Kant, the notorious philosopher that nobody could ever understand, even remotely. It's even like, you know, biblical scripture. Everybody is busy about what this meant is this and what it meant, or it could mean this and it probably meant that. Well, where's the godliness in writing a pile of fucking shit that nobody could get the reason and rhyme behind? If you've got a God which is super intelligent, then surely he'd write something that's so fucking easy to understand that we can all benefit from it, instead of leaving it to other fucking nefarious gurus to explain it for us. So what I'm doing in my videos, I'm trying to be as plain as I possibly can as to, you know, how to think. And the reason for the videos is giving you an opportunity to think about things. And I seem to be pretty successful in that, because I get lots of people in comments and emails saying, yeah, you made me think about this and you made me think about that. That's it. That's what it's about. That's, you know, the best we can endeavour to do is encourage you to think your own thoughts, you know, or to look into something that we're speaking about and to open up your consciousness into it. But when we get into this highfalutin level of self-masturbation, it's no longer useful for anybody. And, you know, Jordan Peterson is just becoming indecipherable, because his mind is bordering on, you know, losing himself in the abyss of his own mental breakdown, because of the complexity. Everything is so complex. When you're at a certain level, could it mean this and could it mean that? There is no truth, people. And you see, if he's looking for truth like he appears to be, desperately looking for truth, oh, and he's always so intense about everything he's thinking about, chill the fuck out, man. Seriously, chill the fuck out. Jeepers creepers. So, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? Do you listen to these people? What do you get from them? I mean, on the one hand, you've got Brand doing his regular podcast where he's pointing, you know, at the world's criminals. Okay, that's useful, isn't it? But then when he goes into his, you know, his philosophy, well, it's just personal masturbation. Listening to Brett Weinstein and Russell Brand, both very, very firmly seated in their belief systems, each to their own right, but not converging in the slightest. What does that say? It says that, you know, we can only ever have our own truth. We can't ever find the truth because it doesn't exist. It's just a figment of people's imagination. It's the carrot on the end of the stick. It's the mirage that we're heading towards in the desert. We'll never get there. We'll just end up, like Nietzsche said, in the abyss. Because if you look into the abyss long and hard enough, then that's all you'll be. You'll discover the abyss. You are the abyss. And that's the terrifying thing, ultimately, about what it is to be a human being. We are simply the abyss, which is consciousness. We are at the fundamental premise of the cosmos, just isness, randomly just firing in a billion different ways. Just neurons firing in a billion different ways. So when scientists tell us now that they can see the energy of the cosmos by doing infrared X-rays, and they say that, well, fuck, it's exactly the same as neurons firing in the brain. So the cosmos is a brain, so as above, so below. They knew that thousands of years ago. Sounds perfectly feasible to me, because I am absolutely convinced myself that the cosmos is living, it's God, it's conscious, and we are just a dream within inside it. It's just neurons firing. It's just ideas firing, people. There's no corporality here. So, what I'm saying here is, look, if any of you have your own formed opinions, then you're doubtless as frustrated as anyone that cannot air them. And there's a couple of you with your own philosophical channels now, or three of you in actual fact, that have commented, and we're working towards having some chats. Well, I've replied to your questions and your offers. Well, let's do it then. Let's do it. Anyone that's out there that's watching my videos that can talk and it's not a shrinking violet and can put things together, let's do it. And let's discuss. Let's wank in front of each other. Come on, I'm inviting you to a masturbation contest. And let's see who can come the highest. You know, what else can I say? We look at this world and we go, what the fuck? And we just start thinking of shit and start putting pieces together, and none of it makes any fucking sense. The only thing that seems to make any sense is when you come back from all your senses. When you come back from all your senses, then there seems to be something that makes more sense than anything which is sensible. Like when you're in the deepest of meditation, there's an awareness there. That's irrefutable. You can't go beyond that. You can't go outside of that. That's fundamental from this human experience, that awareness. And in a perverse sort of way, that seems to make sense. And out of that comes the chaos. And that's what we're in. We're in this chaotic soup where everybody's speaking a different language and everybody's firing at a different rate and level and vibration. And we're looking around, we're going, what the fuck? Isn't it? Or